Okay, so the idea of this is just to basically share your opinions. I'd love your suggestions. Anything you want me to have an opinion on, then share below. Obviously, I need you to subscribe and share a like, but you know, I think it's just really to get things off my chest. So, a big football fan, absolutely love football, but one of the things that's really irritating me at the moment is how easy it is to get a foul in football. I mean, these guys literally must practice in training, just throwing themselves to the floor. And what's not helped or not helping is when the referees now go to VAR, they're actually looking for reasons to vindicate their original decision of a foul. So if there's the slightest little touch, then they'll say, that's why I gave a foul. They'd rather not admit that they were wrong, and they'd rather give the foul, which is never a foul, um, than admit they were wrong, which for me can't be right at all. It is a touch sport, so for example, there might be a corner kick or a free kick to the opposition coming in, and you will see these guys literally manhandling each other, holding, bear hugging each other, pretty much like you would do in American football or rugby, and that's just a given. But they don't get fouls, or very rarely do you get a foul or a penalty for that. You just get on with it because you accept it is a touch sport where physical contact's going to happen. The other thing as well, you'll actually hear pundits and people say you don't really get penalties for that. Um, it's got to be really really bad before you'll get a foul given in those situations, and it's just wrong. The number of penalties that teams are winning now. So yeah, I think Leicester's got the most. But Man United, I mean, it's become a bit of a joke. You've got Bruno Fernandes, as we call him now. Um, they just there was an instance the other day where Pogba told Luke Shaw, "Why didn't you dive? Why didn't you go down?" Literally about 5 minutes before Pogba then wins a penalty by kicking himself and throwing himself to the floor. Yeah, like I say, it's a farce and it's a joke. And what you tend to find is the fans who those decisions are going for have absolutely no problem with it. The people it's going against obviously loathe it. But I'm a bit of a neutral, to be quite honest with you. It's irritating me. Not only the penalties, but just in general, that these guys are throwing themselves to the floor and getting numerous free kicks for absolutely nothing. I think a player who's been outstanding is Jack Grealish, but dear, oh dear, I'm watching the guy and I can't tell you how frustrated I am. He literally pirouettes his way around the field and throws himself at the floor. If he makes a bad touch, he chucks himself down because he's made a bad touch that the guy might get the ball off him. Yeah, it's something I could talk about a lot, as you can probably tell, but it's really irritating me. And I think it kind of ruins my enjoyment of watching the football. I don't want to see people get fouled and kicked and you named it, but I think that whoever came up with the idea of just awarding penalties for the slightest of touch it is wrong. And like I say, the pundits will say things such as "it's soft, but it's a penalty." No, you can't say something. That's just basically saying it's soft, but hey, we might see a goal, so that's all always good. You know, you'll have a guy who's been kicked and pulled and dragged, racing towards the 18-yard box, and he'll stay on his feet, or she'll stay on her feet. It just literally racing towards the 18-yard box, and then as soon as that footballer is in the 18-yard box, the slightest, like a feather could fall from the sky and brush them, and they'll just throw themselves down like they've been hit or shot. It is absolutely ludicrous. And then people say, yeah, but when you're running at that pace, it's the slightest thing puts you out of pace. Really? It's just the 18-yard box. It's like a swimming pool. These guys become divers. It's phenomenal. And the amount of pretending that they're injured, that's one of my pet hates. These guys, you'll literally hear, like a yelp. They go, oh, he must have a really bad injury. That must be a bad one. Oh, they've not moved. This is serious. They're bringing out a stretcher. This could be career threatening. Wait, just going to watch the replay now. Oh, it looks an innocuous one. Doesn't look like there's been much contact there. I wonder what it could be. Oh no, wait a minute. The person's back on their feet. Oh, and they're running around, and bang, they're fine. You've gone from career threatening, this could be a serious injury, don't show any replays, this could be a leg breaker, to, well, that guy's just been literally prancing and dancing around. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. What on earth was that? And it's, I don't know. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Now, another thing that's been irritating me is the flouting of rules. So let's talk about COVID. So whether it's footballers or anyone in general, there's rules that you can and rules that you can't do. One of the big ones over the Christmas period and New Year's has been not being able to mix with anyone if you're in tier 4. So you can't be inviting people round and mixing in your household, or just limiting it to 3 houses if you're in tier 3. So we see numerous pictures at the moment, photos coming out of these fabulously well-paid footballers basically breaking the rules, going one step further, sticking it on social media because they are egotistical like that. They don't care. They do what they want. And then probably getting their representative to put a hollow social media post on, really sorry, and who knows, they might even do a charitable donation to the NHS or whoever it would be. Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm so... And then the football team or club will come out and say, oh yeah, we're dealing with it internally. Well, what do you mean you're dealing with it internally? Absolute disgrace. But what do we expect? Now, a fine of, quite frankly, a fine of anything, whether it's 60 quid or £1,000 or £10,000, that's a lot to a lot of people. Now, when you earn £100,000 a week, unless you're on that level of money, I don't think you can comprehend what that is. 100 grand plus per week is frightening. Now, if you're on that money and you get fined the equivalent of buying a loaf of bread or, a weekly shop, not even that. I mean, these guys, where's the deterrent in that? We actually, yes, we can talk about putting lives at risk and the serious nature of it and the criminality. But not only that, you've got football matches being cancelled because there's been outbreaks, and yet for the same teams, it's proved that protocols have been breached and rules and regulations that are put in place have been abused, basically, and ignored. Yet the game gets cancelled. Now, that's an advantage to that. It's very difficult for these teams to play the number of games. Some of them have got injuries, but there's no deterrent. There's nothing there. I mean, what about docking points? What about suspending these people for a while? For me, that there's none of this makes sense. They're making it up as they go along. And the issue you've got now is you've got inconsistency. So, for example, you've got David Moyes coming out saying there was a very clear set of rules. West Ham, when they had their issues, they had to play because they had a number of players still that they could fall back to, and they had to just play. What seems to be the case now is that the goalposts are changing. And the danger of that is, why is that fair? And you lose the integrity of the competition. You can't change the rules halfway through a competition to suit people at that time. It's just not fair. So for me, they need to really, really go back to the drawing board on that one. And maybe, I don't know, you draw a line in the sand. You get halfway through the season, and you say this is going to be it now. You get all the teams involved, and maybe you come up with a solution to it. But there's got to be more accountability for when these guys make a mistake and blatantly ignore rules. But you've got to look at life as well in general. So a lot of people are opinionated on this, and a lot of people are say, stick by the rules, stick by the rules, stick by the rules. But you go and get in your car, and next time you're in the car, have a look around whilst you're sat in traffic, and just ask yourself and count how many people are on the phone, how many people are texting, how many people are actually holding their phone, and breaking rules that exist. And there's what can happen. What can happen if you answer your phone? If you use your phone in traffic, it could lead to you basically killing someone. You could crash. There's severe consequence to it. There's obviously fines, but yet people still ignore the rules. Just sticking with that theme, how many people genuinely stick to 30 miles an hour in a 30 zone, 70 miles an hour on a motorway? I think to a lot of people, it seems that 70 miles an hour is too slow on a motorway. So they'll just fly and do 80, 80 miles an hour is okay. It's only 10 miles an hour over the limit. No, you're breaking the law. 90 miles an hour. No, you're breaking the law. But these guys and these people will literally just break the rules and law every single day. So you could go on and on and on and on and on about it. These people are blatantly breaking rules day in, day out. So why all of a sudden do people think that people are going to not break rules? Ask yourself that. Generally speaking, we don't live in a society that adheres well to rules. It's as simple as that. But yet people, all get high and mighty about it. Personally, I would love to be in a place where everyone sticks to the rules, everyone does what they should be doing, but all I want I think there needs to be enough of a deterrent, and people will stick by the law and stick by the rules. But then once you put that deterrent or that rule in place, it has to be upheld. So there has to be, the right level of policing. There has to be the right level of, I don't know what I'm trying to say really, but yeah, I think there needs to be an accountability put on society. So if that means people have to whistleblow, let's use the social media to our example, to our advantage. Call people out. If you know it's happening, call them out. Make them accountable. Make them responsible for their actions. But yeah, it's one of many things I could have an opinion about, and I hope you all enjoyed listening to me. It's not meant to be a rant. It's meant to just divide maybe opinion. I welcome any comments. People who might have an alternative opinion to me, absolutely fine with it. I'm really, that's what life's about. Put it out there. It's going to make me feel better. And who knows? It's something that might catch on. I'd love to have a few subscribers and make this a regular thing. I'd love people's suggestions. Let's not just whinge and moan for the sake of whinging. Let's give an opinion, and let's give a solution to it. Try and come up with a solution. Try and come up with an alternative to what is now, and then there might be a counter argument to that. Absolutely not a problem with it at all. But I think we just need to have an opinion, and we need to share these things, put them out there for public domain, but let's do it in an adult way. Yeah, let's not start slagging each other off and getting too PC with this. I'm trying not to use foul and abusive language, trying not to offend anyone for the sake of offending them. So again, if you're offended, just don't listen. It's not a problem. Really is not a problem. If you don't agree, fine, just share an opinion. Just hit me with it. But, try and offer an alternative to what we're discussing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, please comment below.